Quasthal shows no mercy, shows no quarter. But okay, gonna have to take a moment to reevaluate here because Louise is absolute game ender here, potentially. Banishment at level 15, maybe a little more survivable than it was back in the day, but still quite the death sentence. So I'd prefer to just get out of this fight, which would most likely mean a teleport would be easiest to just zip-de-doo-dah, even though we'd have to deal with a couple turns of the worst potential outcome. But unfortunately, Mesmerize isn't going to help us. Oh my gosh, there's also... Okay, this is wacky, by the way. I've never seen this before. We're on Shoals 2. Just ran into Louise. Very scary. Ilsui. Very scary. And Polyphemus. All at once. How fun. So wacky. So, okay, we need to survive just a few turns. Louise laughs uncontrollably. That looked like weird chaotic energy around us. Looked like some kind of Luganu nonsense. Don't like that. I guess I should be swinging in my usual fashion. I'm just actively waiting out turns, standing around rather than swinging my weapon. Okay. There we go. That gets us out of that situation. Oh, I'm not flying. Let's change that because we're gonna try and use our flying to full advantage here. Take the winding path around. Crap. Never mind. Looks like we might have drawn attention to ourselves anyway. Might have made just slightly too much noise. Well, unless I see something super scary, I think we'll keep fighting here. Ah, Polyphemus. That's super scary. Read a teleport scroll. And Mesmerize too from Brain. Yeah, back there. Definitely was just a tricky situation. Oh my lord, and now we're at it again. Did we get hit by rock there while I wasn't paying attention? Yeah, I thought so. Oh boy. So, we're still in the unknown. In fact, I should just wait here, now that we're at least far enough away that I don't think they'll wander over immediately. And now we at least kind of, maybe, have a path north back to our stairs. Ooh, we have this stairs now if we need it. Good to know. Not quite ready to throw in the towel for this floor. I would like to get maybe just a little more experience on this side of things while we continue to head up to the upstairs and away from all that bull crap. And you know what, this kind of works out. We can get teleport scroll to refill those supplies after spending a couple here. But okie dokie. That is a wacky Shoals too. I don't know how much I even want to deal with this as is right now. Because they're pretty tough fights in general. So even with decent ability to buff up with Potion and Petition and maybe try and fight them one by one, Louise actually especially, yeah, I don't want to get banished. What am I even talking over here? Just ridiculous ideas. So instead, we're just going to take a little bit of a break from Shoals. We got a beautiful little stash of javelins here now after all that nonsense. In fact, I may just never pick up standard rocks again. Probably not quite as necessary at this point. Take that off that list. And same with Flame Wand, I'm going to put next to our Shoals to remember to maybe take that in as a fog wall deterrent thingamabob. And as the last little bit of housekeeping, let us read and identify scroll. And we still haven't found haste or heal wounds potions, both of which could be handy for sure. Scroll-wise, enchant weapon is useless for us, brand weapon is useless. Are there any other fear scrolls? I guess I wouldn't mind having identified as a bit of a potential panic button in the future, but I went with potions. We got lignification identified instead of the one of the two desired ones, but that's all good. And so now, what I think we're going to do here is pivot off to Snake. Snake should be pretty much no problem on this character. Having full resistance to poison means we don't have to worry about that. Okay. What a snake it is. Immediately, much like our shoals, we're treated to this lovely view where it's essentially an imitation of the Vault's 5 entrance made real in Snake. And Guardian Serpent is ready to encircle us. I can stare dance here though, right? Indefinitely? No, if we get teleport othered, that's bad. I'm gonna stick around a couple of rounds here, just throwing out a few hits, even though before I completely commit to this choice, I did want to just double check I'm not forgetting any spells here that might. Force Lance is bad. If you cast it, it just knocks us into you and we don't get pushed, I think. But we don't want to kill you. And there we go. Okay, blinked and circling. I knew it. I knew you couldn't resist. Oh no, we're constricted too, though. I didn't think that part through. Luckily, we have a crazy amount of AC. Otherwise, this could be worse. You know what? It is kind of bad. We're gonna Potion Petition here. Looking for haste, actually, was my main thing. This is a lot of snakes. No kidding. Why is it always snakes? But okay, we got hasted, which gives us twice the opportunities to run upstairs. Oh my lord. Okay, change of plans. We're teleporting instead, because I'm not breaking the percent chance to get away from the constriction here, so looks like we're just gonna teleport out of here and try and fight our way through this floor, I guess. Oh boy. I'm willing to spend a decent money, I guess. Oh, dang it. I just cast my Potion Petition, and right after doing so I realized that we could have bribed the branch too. Don't know if that would have helped us out with the buddies directly in front of us right now, but it definitely would have been helpful in the long run here, especially after we teleport out. It would be nice to maybe have some allies next to us. But, okay, it's 1 or 2 more turns on this telly. I don't like how much damage we're taking. Curing doesn't quite do it. Teleport me away. If these buddies teleport other, I think it cancels my tele status, but I've been taking a peek there and making sure that we've kept that the whole time. I think. Oh my gosh, it's taking forever to kick in. Please. Oh gosh, there we go. Okay. Wanted to find a hallway here, but I think this will have to do. This is about as good as it gets. The nice thing about getting out of that nonsense, besides the fact that we're alive and not worrying about death each and every turn right now, but once we've opened up the floor like this and gone to this wide open layout, Snake should be a breeze for us, not just because of our poison resistance, but between our normal movement speed on a Gargoyle and the boots of running that we have, we should be able to run away from any fight, as long as we're not completely encircled, of course. But ideally, that won't be a problem each and every time. Hopefully we've taken out... Hopefully that was the same Guardian Snake as before, actually, even though I doubt it. Knowing our luck, there are probably quite a few on this floor. But I guess this is almost much like how I was saying that the entrance was an imitation of Vault's 5. This is almost our own answer to that, which is to imitate one of the Vault's 5 strategies, to teleport to the outside of the level and then work our way in from there. Should work out just as well as it does in Vaults as well. And actually, yes, Psycho, if you're still around, I am very curious. You mentioned that you were happy to beat Vaults 5 on your first trip in there. What strategy did you use to do so? Because I definitely get asked that a lot on stream here. It seems like a lot of people like to hear the different options and know kind of where you land on them, because there are some different plans, but I used Immolation. Okay, that makes sense since you were a Berserker as well, because I know a lot of the other solutions, I guess, couldn't do a blaster caster, nuke the place. So that's out of there. And evocations, if you were lucky, you had enough, but that makes sense. The kind of old faithful. And I guess you did also mention that you did your first trident weapon attack recently, or attempt rather. Interested in being able to hit 2 spaces. It's pretty huge. Especially there are those few opportunities where you're really able to eke out a pretty nice advantage from that. Like when you have a really weak enemy directly in front of you and someone really strong behind them, being able to reach past is super handy for sure. But no, in general, spears are pretty amazing. They get even better in conjunction was what I was going for. In conjunction with certain either skills or other gameplay choices, I guess, because if you worship Hepliakana, that's one of those ones that I shouldn't try and pronounce when I don't have the word in front of me. Oh, speaking of which though, we can cheat real quick. Hepliakana is pretty awesome to be a polearm user and just poking past your ghost ally. Super fun. But I guess the other side of that was, any summoners can really eke out a whole lot of advantages from just that, for sure. Oh boy. Salamander's a little scarier than I thought. I guess it's that dang old fire damage coming in again. One of these days, we're hopefully going to get some RF that's not that one piece of armor that we turned down earlier. I don't even remember what the downside on that armor was. Was it negative will power, which is also not something that we can handle, so. Okay, I'm gonna back out here, and I was gonna temporarily exclude that, because let's finish the rest of the floor and stuff here before we worry too much. In fact, I wanted to peek, maybe pull some more of those enemies from our entrance, open it back up. But my reason for using on was that I was gonna, sorry, brain is breaking down as I try to read this. My reason for using one was that I was going for like my second Troll Berserker attempt, and I was going for the high HP regen and found a +4 Vampiric Trident, bumped up to +9, got overconfident and negligent, and well, is so often how these games go, for sure. But that is a pretty solid combo, having the Vampiric Trident on top of that. It's always unfortunate to lose one of those, but hopefully you learned a little something for the next one. It's what I like to tell myself, is that I'm always learning something as I continue to make the same mistakes over and over again, run after run. But we just ignore that here, and instead we learn from our mistakes. We're good people. Good people who actively develop our skills. But okie dokie. Now that we're out of the nonsense that was the entrance into this area, things have settled down to a bit more what I expected from Snake here. Easy retreats, lots of enemies getting distracted by the gold and all that. Sweet, sweet goodness. We're still not as fast as snakes, I think, even with our boots of running. Crap, getting a little constricted there. Whoops. Let's just do some little walk away move. What was it? Move and metal isn't right. I was trying to come up with some kind of alliteration for the peek and poke. Isn't quite indicative of the motion here, because it's like a step and stab, slide and stab. There we go. That's what we said at the start of the run. I feel like I've been struggling over trying to remember that alliteration like multiple times so far. Last little bit. Oh, whoops. Didn't realize there was a more tab there. It's my win run actually was with the +8 rapier with protect and see invisible. I can't believe it worked so well. Definitely, yeah, protection isn't one of the more commonly used brands for the end game, for sure. But rapiers aren't the end of the world. I mean, if you're dealing with short blades anyway, there are only a few that get better than that, right? Quick blades, of course. But you can't always guarantee you're going to run into that, so definitely, if it's good enough to make it through, that's all that matters. Probably could have used one of the many much better weapons I had in the inventory, but felt like the extra 7 AC was making the difference. Could have been Superstition. Hey, I was gonna say state of mind, but I guess more explicitly, peace of mind was what I was going for. Is worth its own stuff in this game, for sure. You don't want so much peace of mind that you're gonna do something stupid, of course, but enough that you're not constantly stressed and able to make it through fights feeling pretty solid about it. That's usually pretty important, because once you've kind of calibrated your comfort levels for the game, it does become fairly nice and indicative of when you should be getting out of a situation or when you should start reaching into your back pocket for all your consumables and whatnot. Also had this one +9 longsword that had the ability that reanimated some mobs it killed and thought it sounded really good. Is that like the Zealot blade, one of the unrand arts? I don't know if that's right though. But if the name is wrong, don't worry, I still know exactly what you're talking about if it is that unrand art, because there is the zombie raising one for sure. But okay, a potion shop here is pretty lovely. Some potions of haste not only are a decent get here, but it's nice to get those identified as well, since we've been scarily short on any kind of identification scrolls. And kind of on a similar note, yeah, I should probably pick up the Potion of Attraction, Potion of Flight. Cheap enough, even though it's useless to us, it's nice to get those identified. In fact, maybe extra nice, because you can just chuck them out of our inventory, give myself some much needed space. Yeah, it's like free IDs. Yeah, no, exactly. Pretty awesome. For a second, you plan to switch to that sword once you got your golden dragon armor, but you ended up being able to plus the dragon armor up to 5, so decide to keep the AC. That's a good lesson for you to have taken early on to your time playing DCSS, because those defensive trade-offs are oftentimes much better than any kind of offensive capability you could get behind it. Like the brand is a little rough just because you have to get a hit with it in order to proc that additional effect, so it can kind of suck when you just get slammed out of nowhere with really high damage attacks and whatnot, but I definitely see no problem with any kind of switch to a more defensive mindset in this game, because oftentimes it's exactly what you need to make it through. Okay, down to Snake Pit 3, and I guess the other advantage is I keep finding more and more little things that being a gargoyle absolutely trivializes for Snake here, and one of those other things is we also have that innate resist electricity, because shock serpents are normally frightening as all get up. Also, you couldn't wait one more turn to encircle me. I was hoping I could at least get on the stairs, you dang old serpent. Come on, stop constricting me. There we go. Okay, it is just a chance that constrictions will prevent you from going upstairs, but we've been quite unlucky. Probably it doesn't help that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on us at all times. But okay. Also, for whatever reason, I have this weird wheeze going on when I breathe in. I think I haven't been drinking enough of my drink and getting really dry throat. Poison immunity is so good. Agreed. And those guardians are the reason I prefer spider pits. Definitely are quite scary. These guardian buddies can be quite the pain in the butt. Jeez Louise. In fact, we didn't even get the kill off on that buddy, unfortunately, which I was hoping to. But no, I definitely cannot disagree with that. They are quite the pain in the butt here. But I don't know how much I like Spider. I think part of that is because I've mentioned a couple times in the recent while how much I really enjoy playing casters, and so spiders to me just means ghost moths, which I swear every time I've run into ghost moths, because even though I hate them and they're so frightening, I still forget about them every time, of course. It's not like I'm going to remember the danger of them. But I feel like they almost kill me every time. It's either that or you get like a Moth of Wrath berserking the wrong things. It gets really rough. Yeah, those are rough. I died to one today. Yeah, no, Ghost Moths are definitely a run ender for me as well. Okay, so I never found this Guardian Serpent, but I don't even care. Should be okay, right? There's no way I get punished for that, especially not on this very stream. It's not like the comedic timing has been me in the butt before or anything like that. So let's just go on in blissful ignorance here, feeling good. Wait, was there? No, there wasn't a time portal I missed, right? That's just fancy design, I think. Sure hope so. But artifact scimitar that will almost definitely not switch to at this point in the game, but still pick it up, maybe check it out. There we go. As long as we're not facing too many of these buddies at once. I guess as long as we're not getting surrounded completely, then all is well. I guess for a caster it really helps. The Naga are slow, so getting that over fast spiders would be advantageous. Yeah, and the other kind of big thing for me, because I do feel like most people are on the same page as you. I think a lot of people do prefer spider. And definitely, I guess, I say that on casters, but on the flip side of that, if you're a Venom mage and you're just able to poison everyone around you, spider is pretty awesome for that alone. But the other big advantage with Snake, I find, is on runs where you're having trouble getting resist poison. I do find that Snake is a little more doable than Spider, just because a lot of the Naga at least don't consistently apply poison. It's just when they use their spit attack. So I usually find there's a little more wiggle room there, but I guess that does kind of come with the caveat that you need Arlek or Shock Serpents might completely rock your day. So it's always a bit of a balancing game. And that's what one thing I really like about DCSS is when you hit a wall and you run into 4 ridiculously scary uniques and shoals, as a random example, not at all related to this run, then there are always lots of the branches that you can kind of go to, and they might be a little bit tougher because you're going out of order, but it's a potential thing, and I always find that really cool. But what are your thoughts on Malmutate? Oh, the hard-hitting questions of the day, hey? That's definitely one of the hot-button topics. I don't, in general, in life, have exceptionally strong opinions about things, especially not video games, even if I really love them. I very much appreciate them for what they are, and I appreciate the work that goes into making them regardless. But having that little preface aside, Malmutate is definitely interesting. I think that it does definitely fulfill its supposed role of providing something that's not going to be checked against, any of the standard defenses, AC, evasion, or shielding, kind of, an alternative. And it can feel like crap if you get a really unfortunate run that really doesn't get many mutation potions, and then get hit with all the worst mutations. I mean, just in the last run we had, I spent a bunch of mutation potions to get rid of blurry vision, and then immediately the very first fight I got into, I got blurry vision 2 stacked up on me again, and it actually almost killed us. If we weren't extremely fortunate with some mutation potions mid-fight, things could have ended very differently for Murphy there. But a lot of that stuff, like, it's similar to how people have really strong opinions on shafts in the game, and I think that's totally fair to a certain extent, because it can definitely feel crappy, and emotional responses are important. That is the whole reason why we're playing video games, is to feel stuff and to have, fun, or even stress is good a lot of the time in a video game context, I should say. But I find both Shafts and Malmutate get my brain going, I guess. They get me excited, scared, so I kind of like that. They almost give me, different kind of, the good kind of emotional reaction to them, rather than the negatives. So I do find it just kind of exciting to see how you deal with those problems and see how it goes. I've not had any issues with shafts at all. May change at some point in the future. I mean, I shouldn't say that so negatively, just because a couple of our runs have been very close to being screwed over completely by shafts, being sent directly down to the bottom floor of these like rune sections and stuff can be extremely scary and can definitely get you killed. I think I had to go up through, 3 floors, ran into a few uniques and stuff like that. Very much nearly died. But yeah, to me, that's just part of the fun and the kind of storyline that the game is building here, because we wouldn't play random number generator games unless there was some part of you that is attracted to that randomness itself. The fact that anything can happen. They don't call it getting shafted for nothing. You're not wrong. In terms like I got teleportitis on a good run though and had no potions of mutation available, and that alone killed it. Yeah, see, and that's where it can definitely give you, it can just feel crappy, right? Because that's, I don't even mean just like, oh, that makes me feel sad, but you know, you don't want to feel that specific brand of like, there's nothing I can do, dude. Especially since this game is so beautiful and how little that happens. I guess once you get a certain level of experience in the game, you're almost always gonna be able to recognize like, okay, 10 floors ago, I didn't read ID that stuff that I probably should have at that time because it made sense to, and that led to this, to that, and like kind of work through your mistakes. So I think the term that actually describes the idea I think you're conveying is feeling cheated. No, exactly, yeah. If you have to earn your wins, you want to also have to earn your losses in a sense, for sure. But it's also those runs where you get shafted down 5 floors, run into face-to-face with a giant, and then immediately like teleport out, find a stairway of the sun, you run up and oh no, a unique and all these things, like, and then you survive. Those are the runs that you remember and were exciting, you know? So that side of it, I guess, just can't help but like some of those things, even if they're highly contested in the community in general. But yeah, earn your losses, I like that. And yeah, my most exciting run was crazy, definitely. No, even this run alone, like running into Polyphemus, Isuli, and Louise all at once in Shoals 2 there, like that got my heart going. So that's the whole reason we're rolling the die. Got sent to the Abyss at like experience level 9 and got out, then got sent back close to death, and then got the portal under your feet and got out again. So yeah, that's so exhilarating. I guess that's, I don't know, maybe that is a good example of where the developers of DCSS have done it better than some of the contested things, because I think the banishment mechanic is awesome. Like, even with these runs where over and over again, I'm not getting great sources of willpower and not feeling like there's too much I can do, it's something that feels a bit more actively able to be played around, I guess. Jeez, I need to get out of here before this dispersal trap is nightmares for us. But yeah, there are a decent number of ways you can play around it. Even if it hits you, it's not a death sentence. It is almost like getting shafted in a way, where there's just, depending on where you are, there could be a good chance that you die, or you might just get really lucky. I mean, the cool thing about the Abyss is technically you could get really fortunate, or you can get really fortunate, and you can come out of it better off than you went in. Find a good piece of treasure, like a sweet artifact or something on the ground. I think that's makes it more fun in a way, a bit more chaotic. But have you done that one many times for the Abyss rune there? No, or yes, actually, sorry. Brain started answering that before it even thought about whether that answer is correct. Yeah, no, I definitely find myself going for the Abyss rune decently often. I mean, I think I almost find slime to be the easiest for me, even though corrosion is really scary, especially since even with our corrosion, you can still end up at like suddenly you're sitting there at negative 28 AC, crapping your pants. But I can usually go in with a plan and kill the royal jelly and lots of like cool solutions there. So I usually go for that one, but at the same time, when I used to play just by myself and not on camera, I would also pretty much always go for all 5 basic runes. I find that a lot more fun than the 3 rune, especially since most of the time, if you're able to take out that level of enemy, you're probably going to be able, or I guess the level of enemy needed to take any of the 3 runes, Abyss, Slime, or Vaults. If you can take any of them, you might be able to, probably can take them all, so I like to push it for the most part. And this has been an interesting experience streaming it here, and for the first time not aim for that and actually trying to go for 3 runes whenever we can here. Sorry, it's chatting for a while, slipped back a little bit on the chat here, but Realbird mentioned that you agree the most stressful but also most rewarding was a 15 rune game where you ran out of time on the Zot clock in vaults and then had to get the last rune from tombs while carrying the Orb of Zot. Heck yeah, that's awesome. That is a story to tell, you know? That's fun. And it's like I said, slime is the first presentation of Malmutates. I'm always hesitant to go there early. Definitely true. I do, I guess, as part of my like package for, you want to have your items you need to kill or to put forth some kind of plan to take care of the royal jelly. And then you also, need some kind of way to either break sightlines or to just immediately nuke any shining eyes, because I agree that that can be a pain in the butt for sure. Usually just hope it doesn't come down to that. And it does help. I'm not sure. It seems like you researched a decent amount in your first little bit playing here, so you probably read up on it. But I know when I first started, I think I explored like all of slime, each and every floor to the full extent. Absolutely garbage. Never do that. But it definitely changed things to finally learn the proper way, or the quote-unquote proper way. Also, dang it, I didn't see you. Just having fun here. Dang old guardian snake. I'm gonna read a telly right away. Just get that out of the way here. Maybe kill this anaconda. But yeah, just when I learned that you don't have to go through the entire thing, it was a huge game changer and really makes everything easier. I didn't have to deal with the same thing when going through the hells for the first time, because by that point I was fully immersed in the game wiki and looking everything up. So I was able to find out right away that most people just dive through, because yeah, it's definitely not worth it to try and fight your way through the tedium of it all. Man, I went into slime my first time completely blind, cleared every mob except the royal jelly, thought it was going to be easy, so I zerked and started hitting, had no idea it summoned and it wrecked you. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's that's such a lovely nostalgic story. It gets me right into the mindset of when I first did so many things in this game that got me killed. There's a reason why it's yet another stupid death, is the catchphrase of this game's losses here. But I completely explored slime levels the first few times through also, because I wanted to know if there was any treasure hidden in the level. Definitely valid. It's too bad that there isn't, but right. No, definitely slime is a bit of a new player trap, because it's the same with, as I mentioned, where corrosion can absolutely hit you like a truck. Regardless, like resistance is great and definitely necessary for the most part, But even with that, you may have those runs where things just get absolutely brutal regardless of that. Also, I didn't realize that we were getting teleported by the Nagaraja here. Very silly of me, but fortunately ended up teleporting to a safe place, so all is well that ends well, and we don't have to worry too much about that. Things could have definitely ended quite a bit differently. Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize I've been on autopilot and not really having any problems here for the most part, so feeling pretty good about it. Didn't know we were on Snake 4. Would you look at that? So this is the end vault that we're fighting here at the moment. Which makes sense now why it all of a sudden got so tricky. I was about to make a comment about how each of these levels has been as scary as the end vault. Turns out we were just at the end vault. I'm so stupid. But by far, though, the worst mob in the game, in my opinion, are Cursed Skull, Flares, and Cursed Toes. I hate Cursed Toes, man. Cursed Toes have almost ended so many of my runs. Oh me oh my. But real weird also, I found weapons in slime levels hidden in the mazy corridors once, but it's nothing compared to the loot in the Slime 5 treasure vault. Yeah, very little compares to the Slime 5 treasure vault. Maybe that's partially why I always like to go slime, not only because it's very much a have a plan, execute plan. If you do it well, should always work, kinda. Little bit of an asterisk TM there to make sure to account for RNG shenanigans. But the other part of it is that I don't even think it's that much more total treasure than the other end vaults of all these runes. But because it's all in one place, in that like condensed form, it's so much more satisfying for when you kill the royal jelly and you start sorting through the piles and piles of crap. It's so sweet. Even though I do always just panic, and I'm so afraid that I'm not going to peek in, and then slimes are going to be around that I haven't noticed, and they're going to ooze about and eat all my treasure. Because there have been some changes to that, so I'm always hesitant to act like I know anything about the mechanics of how it's coded. But I'm pretty sure slimes can only destroy items if the player has not seen the item whatsoever yet. Which is why, as soon as I kill the royal jelly, and with the making sure I'm safe, I guess, as well. The next thing that I immediately do is rush for the center there, because I don't want them stealing all my crap. But yeah, I don't know how much of that is totally true, or how likely it is to happen, or how much of that is just completely a holdout of the old days of DCSS. Because back before they added all the mechanics that made it harder for monsters to interact with objects after the player has seen them, back in those days, any slime could always eat any item left on the ground. So it was always building up little stashes for yourself and making sure that if you found any really good weapons, you either hid them somewhere safe or you tossed them into deep water or lava so that no one could use them against you either. I kind of miss those kind of immersive storytelling that pops out of it, but I'm still not against the changes that were made either, I don't think. But I'm really glad my friend turned me onto this game. I've been addicted, debating between Octopode and Spriggan for my next one. For my money on that, I definitely prefer Octopodes. They're both super fun. Spriggans especially are cool because it's a very different playstyle. Like having the extra speed right off the get-go and the really low health is very unique in a way. Like it's even different. Felids are similar, but there's enough of a distinction between them, especially with aptitudes as well, to make them kind of fun. But Octopodes have wacky potential. It's a little bit tricky, and you feel like you're a bit of a squishy meat bag for a lot of the runs if you're not fortunate enough to find a good shield or a lot of really solid rings. But all it takes is one run where you find yourself with like 3 or 4 AC rings, or even a combination of AC and evasion rings, and you're just untouchable for the starting part of the game. And once you start on putting all artifacts, it's so much fun. How many kind of cool effects you can stack and layer on top of each other. I feel like if you don't find many rings for like the first 8 floors, it'll be really difficult. Very true. No, essentially a death sentence. You're not wrong. It seems like you've gotten a pretty good understanding of octopodes already. It's the same with, in a slightly less direct way, if you don't find a shield, you're probably going to die. Because you need some source of damage reduction on an octopode. But okay, we have our first rune in hand. Glory be. We fortunately also managed to pick up a See Invisible ring in our journeys here a while ago, but still, finally we can maybe put that to use and just head back out to the standard dungeon, get a little bit of experience under our belt. Why not? So let's go to dungeon level 10. I think we cleared all of 10. I'm in for a rude awakening if I left something there. Oh wait, also Gastronoc. Where is Gastronoc again? I don't even remember where I left you. Wait a second. Elsui Louise, Polyphemus. Gastronoc, layer 3. Okay. So that was what we blinked through there. We are at over 100 health, so maybe I should have taken care of Gastronoc on our way out. I'm trying to remember. He was wearing a hat of intelligence. It might have been +1, so it's not better AC than our current helmet. We don't really need int. I'll leave him for now. He can enjoy his time in layer 3 there. But I saw this hood once that was like Hood of the Assassin, and you could get short sword stabs from any weapon. Thinking of using it with an Executioner's Axe to stab if I can get that. That item can be extremely wacky amounts of fun. Because you can even mix in stuff like, what am I thinking about? Uskaya, who's a god that has a total paralysis effect. So if you have an Executioner's Axe, and you hit the piety level to get that, and then the next piety level shares damage amongst enemies, then you'll get backstabs with your Executioner's Axe on paralyzed targets that split to all enemies. Like, it's incredible. From what I've heard, I actually have no experience in this. I know I talk like it's old hat for me, but I've heard that that's how it goes, is what I should say, to be a bit more honest. But hello, hey Peacock. If this is the .26 Gastro's airstrike, might hurt you while you're flying. Oh, definitely, yeah. For the longest time there, it was at the point where if I turned a corner by accident and you saw me first, there was a chance that we're just dead out of the water if I'm accidentally flying at the time. So when we first ran into Gastronoc, we were even lower in HP, unfortunately. But I got it on my second run ever and had no idea what to do with it. The Hood of Assassin you're talking about? Yeah, that's too bad, but don't worry, it'll show up again. I'm fortunate that I started playing this game. Oh right, there's an ice archway here that I'm just totally ignoring. But because I started this game so long ago, I have no memory of how much good, or how many good things I've just completely thrown away. And that's probably for the best. I don't want to imagine how much young me would have tossed away that I would kill for now. But there'll always be another run, and oftentimes you'll be lucky enough to find even the same thing. Even though, that being said, there are still a couple of artifacts that I haven't found to this day. Single time. And some of them I really want to as well. Specifically, Gimbal and Gyre is like a really cool double quick blade combo. I've always wanted to try out that artifact. Never ran into them, unfortunately. At least not on a run that could use them. I guess I might... There's always the potential that I'm just completely forgetting about like a field that went around, and I just got mad and blanked it out of my memory so I never would have to be sad about it again. But, well, it's been great to get to know you and watch you play. I look forward to catching you again. Must go to bed though, 6 a.m. comes early. No, yeah, thanks Psycho for chatting along. I very much appreciate it, and I very much enjoy it. So I'm happy that you stumbled on us today. Definitely hope to see you in the future. Have a great night and a good sleep as well. And a good morning. Tomorrow morning as well. Let's do the whole shebang. Talk to you later, Psycho. And dang it. So I was patting my own back when we ran into the gauntlet a while back, and I finally, for the first time ever, remembered to drop my useless crap before coming in. No such luck this time around. Totally forgot to do any of that. So we're in it for the long haul here, where we're gonna just be struggling to decide what we throw out and what we can take through with us here. It sucks because, oh, I was about to say we probably have some potions of degeneration somewhere in here, but we also have 2 scrolls of identify. So maybe, just maybe, we can find some of them, something we can throw away. Hey, we identified degeneration right away. That's not a cheery sentence you hear too often in the DCSS gameplay, but happy about it for this one time. And we'll also read a scroll or identify a scroll. That's a couple of slots, especially consider the fact that this amnesia. Just immediately ditch that back to the floor. Perfect. I was kind of hoping that we'd get another resist cold ring out of the 2 that we identified, and unfortunately no such luck. Oh crap, don't accidentally waste a turn just waiting around like a fool. Okay, it's a necromancer in the final vault. Is there also going to be an ice fiend? I think it's the ice fiend, right? The ice devils are the ones we just fought that aren't that scary. The ice fiend is the brilliant blue one that's scary as all hell. I think I'm remembering that right. Let me double check actually. What do you do? Invisibility is slightly painful, but not even, because we have See Invisible Ring. We have RN, we have RF, and RC now. I'm not scared of you, but there's no way it's just you, right? No way. Oh wow, I thought this vault always ended with something at least as scary as an ice fiend, but huh, that's not too shabby. Okay, I mean, no complaints, I'll take it. Guess we'll just pick up that treasure for now and finish wiping out the last few of these buddies. I'm hoping there aren't any truly scary simulacra behind here, but I'm guessing not. Perfect. And not too shabby. In fact, we weren't even punished too much for the fact that we came down here with a full set of inventory. But okay, now that we have that town portal out of the way, we have all these shops to explore too. There's so much on the plate right now. But let's take it one at a time. Try the helmet first. Ooh, +1 helmet of intelligence, gain an AC, and now that's an outfit. That's the kind of golden that we want to match our gold shoes. A nice crown like that. Much better than the earlier helmet. One of these days I'm going to stop running into brand new sprites. But imagine it's not going to be for a while, especially considering the fact that they added a bunch in Trunk, or in 0.27, so never mind, scratch that. I can be surprised and bewildered for the rest of my life by all the outfit changes in this game. But okay, the boots of stealth, not quite as attractive to me as the boots of running we're already wearing, especially considering their equal level of enchantment here. So tag yourself, me at level 57 in Classic WoW. Yeah, that's great. No, exactly. Okay, dokie. Now looking through these shops as well. It's actually really nice that we went through the ice cave there before finding the shops, because maybe I would have bought them, like, of these helmets and stuff, if not for the fact that we just picked up better on the inside. So I will definitely gladly take that, but with that in mind, we don't have any gloves yet, so I'm going to buy these Dex gloves. Get 2 points of AC as well, which is nothing to sneeze at. In fact, let's just snap by that bad boy and throw those gloves on. Okay, so gloves match our shield, but our boots match our hat. There's a bit of a weird system at play here, but it's perfect. And let's see here. Interesting. So if we weren't so invested in, what's the word I'm looking for? In throwing, then it would probably be tempting to switch to this crossbow. Well, depending on what kind of enchantment it had, obviously. But this is a beautiful weapon just because it's one of the few ranged weapons that's endgame potential and also one-handed, so you can wear it with a shield. But maybe I'll just highlight that as something we may want to pick up if we have excess money in the future, even just for fun. But I mean, more dodge sounds good. Do you mean in terms of us here, in terms of what we could use? Because you're not wrong. If so, even if not, then you happen to nail our problem on the head regardless, because I am in desperate need of dodging. In fact, skill-wise here, I kind of have been completely forgetting about everything. I should be fine taking off fighting for a bit, and now we'll pump up our dodging just to a lower level here, since it will take a lot of experience to do so. Let's set a cap on armor at like even 14 for now, and then it's between maxing out throwing is actually pretty solid, keeps ramping up the damage, and especially with the number of javelins we're going to be carrying by the end of this thing, that's pretty awesome. The other side of it is we could do evocations as well, and it's tempting, even just a little bit, So we're spreading a little thinner here, but we're in a pretty solid state all around here, so should be able to get away with it at the very least. Not too bad. Auto Dragon. Very much something we faced before, and no sweat off my back. So we haven't ran into any of the invisible buddies yet, even though I think now that I'm re-looking at all the enemies that we've been fighting this entire floor, I think I had reconfigured my mental map of where floors get difficult. D11 usually is where it's safe to explore down to, I believe, and it's D12 and on that is where I usually like to have a couple of things prepared in our backpack before heading in. Ooh, Nergal, hey? We have a lot of RNs, so I'm not too worried about the drain from the spectral orcs here, or the bolt of draining, actually. Yeah. And I'll just walk right up to you, not really worrying about anything, I guess. Perfect. Not too shabby. I wish we had more unique fights that went that way in this game. Unfortunately, they're usually a little bit scarier than that. But, ooh. An interdimensional caravan. It's also a timed one, so we will 100% be throwing out this magic mapping scroll because I'm desperate to see that. Ooh, this is a really cool treasure vault. Not what we're looking for though. There's our money there. Okay, so it looks like this stairway is literally the opposite side of the level from where we want to be. So let's pop down this one instead, shall we? It's looking a little bit better, I guess just about as good as it gets. Oh, you son of a gun. Let's see how often you hit us. I shouldn't do this, now that I think about it. I'm very much committing to the fight as I completely step off the stairs to run towards Nessos, but feel pretty comfortable taking on that buddy, especially without him firing arrows at us, so we'll take it. Then, let's start heading up, and in fact, I think I am gonna sneak around the outside here. Hopefully we run into less enemies. Get a bit of a free path all the way to the caravan here because we have so much money. I would love to spend on all these shops. There we go, no problem whatsoever. Usually as long as you magic mapped it, there are pretty good odds of you making it in time. Also, I've never seen this little bazaar before where it has some free items and everything. That's kind of cute. Oh my gosh, I forgot to drop stuff. I'm an idiot. Since you're poison immune, Nessos won't be, well, he's dead. Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt too. I was about to sum up how I felt about the whole thing right as we finished the deal, so I'll take it. Gosh darn it though. I'm such a fool. Could probably drop a lot of these wands. Polymorph won't have good chances to take effect. It is really good against shapeshifters if they're in a particularly tricky form, but most of our resistances are up to snuff, so we should be okay, maybe, in that regard. I mean, time to just read and drink everything, right? I probably should read some of these like single scrolls, because it's not like I'm most likely going to be using Torment or... I was going to say Vulnerability, we already have those identified, but Torment or Holy Word in a 3-rune game, probably don't even need them. But before we get too desperate here, why don't we actually look in the shops? Maybe there's old crap here, right? I mean, Glowing Boots, I don't think we get better than our +2 boots of running, honestly. We could get fun, I guess, in something like a Rampage brand. Try and figure that out again without killing myself. But I think I'd rather save my money. Oh my lord. +5 cloak, Biosid. Int +4, not super useful on us, but a +5 cloak. Don't mind if I do. Let's just pop that on right away, because that is a trade that we can immediately drop our old set. And let's make sure I wasn't just blinded by that. Is there anything else here that's useful? Already wearing +3 plate, so I guess that's that. In the end, nothing too impressive from this bazaar, but that's really nothing too much to complain of. We're with Gozag anyway. If we really want to shop, we'll get one. So, you know what? I guess we're going to be picking this Polymorph one back up, because we're on out of there. Lovely. Not too shabby whatsoever. But maybe what we'll do here before I find myself in this exact same situation where I'm kicking myself over all this nonsense, I'm going to just drop some stuff after I identify scrolls. I don't know. I think I was blending the word course with scroll in my head, maybe. That really butchered the whole thing, but there we go. Identify another stack of scrolls, get Scroll of Noise, so that's 2 inventory slots opened up. Heck yeah. And then I was originally going to drop, yeah, like some of these wands. Paralysis could drop. I should drop my enchant armor scrolls. Don't really need them actively on us at all times, especially since already at 47 AC with this character, not exactly desperate for every single piece of AC we can find. We'll most likely end up using those on our endgame armor, or in order to open up a treasure trove if we happen to run into one. Never a guarantee, of course. Never know. Also, we have 6 of these scrolls. What are they? Fog. That is awesome. One of the worst items in terms of how often I remember to use it, but one of the best items in terms of what it actually does. So, happy to have that many fog scrolls in our back pocket here.